to a real fight wasn't right. Where can she dream here? Took a hold of her.
Hey everybody, how's it going? So we're going to try this again, all right? We're on a 3-week roll here. 3 weeks ago, actually it was a month ago, I was kicked off my own show. Couldn't do the show. It just wouldn't let me come on. Thanks to the internet. The week after that, it had kicked off. Nobody actually. That show was okay. Oh no, that was the show that we could not connect with Melissa. The show after that we did okay, and then of course last week we had terrible storms. By the way, it's looking a little cloudy out there right now. So hopefully the storms stay away so we can have a decent, and it just blinked on me. Yeah. So we can have a decent show here. Hey everybody, my name is Zak Clayton, Community Pay It Forward, Community Dare to Care, and the pACT channels, where we share your business story with those in need of your services to rally support for those who need us all. We do this by our very unique platform. It's called Shop, Click, and Pick, which is constructed to empower change and create impact to bridge consumerism with compassion by turning an affiliate award into a donation. If you'd like to know more about that, please scan the QR code above my head. That goes to my For My card. That's how you can get a hold of me. It's an easy process. I'd like to welcome you all here. We have a couple recorded shows that we're going to play for you, a couple recorded interviews. We are going to be switching to a recorded format for most of the shows, just due to the issues that we've been having. I'd like to make sure that we're having a consistent show. So we are going to end up going, and I need everybody to bear with me for a little bit, because until we get everything situated, it's going to be a little hit or miss. So we are planning on going live again on with Footprints Forward here in about 3 weeks. We're going to continue just to play past shows, but then we're going to go live again on Mondays in about 3 weeks. Get to be a grandpa for the first time for a couple young men that are joining us here from Oklahoma. It's quite an experience, I'll tell you. It's kind of neat. 2 years ago I had no grandkids, and now I got 7. And no, that doesn't mean that I've got kids that were working quickly. That just means that I got married and I became a grandpa. And it's really neat having kids around the house again. It's really neat being able to take care of them. With that comes a lot of the worries that a lot of people have. And comes the realization that there are kids all over the world right now that are suffering. I had a conversation today with a great group of people, and we're going to be working with them. They have created this this fundraiser for our friends at the Happy School in Africa. African rules are so much different than we are. They have to rent out their school for multiple years. They have to come up with the money, and they have to rent it out for multiple years. Not months, not weeks, but years. And folks, when it comes to it, these schools are the only opportunity some of these children have to eat, get clothing. this is the only life that they have. This is the only excitement that they have. So please visit that link and see what's going on. See if you can maybe go on and help them out. Every dollar, and let's see here. I figured this out. Every one US dollar equals 128.5 Kenyan shillings. So you will see that on this fundraiser, they have a shilling count of $300,000. That sounds a little, it sounds a little daunting, but the truth is that, $1 equals 128.5 Kenyan shillings. So we're asking you just to go on to this Mchanga, Africa. It's just a fundraiser. I've talked to the people. You're going to be seeing a couple of videos that I'm working with them. We're going to be doing some stuff together, including sharing stuff like our Happy Gardens Community School. This is their share. This is how you can get a hold of them, and this is how you can support them with the Community Pay It Forward program. You scan that QR code, you shop with any of our partners. Again, shop, click, and pick. Take a picture of a receipt with any of our giving partners. Our giving partners give us a affiliate award every time that you shop with them. You get to choose who you want to sponsor. Sponsoring something like the Happy Gardens Community School means so much because these kids are out there, and these kids, this is the only chance a lot of them have to eat. Look, I've stated this before. I understand that we are in the United States, and I understand there's a lot of people who want to concentrate on the United States. That is perfectly fine. Okay, I'm going to bring myself back on the camera because I really want you guys to understand what I'm saying here. This is perfectly fine. I understand that. But with our program, you can do things like purchase a website from Mr. Z for your child's wedding, for your wedding, whatever it is. You can attend Kyle's, you guys just saw me mention Kyle. You can attend one of his programs. That right there would be 2 donations. You can put those 2 donations to do 2 different things. And by the way, you didn't spend an extra penny. All you did was make purchases that you need to do for your business, for your home, for your life. These folks are going to give us an affiliate award. Okay, whether it's $10, whether it's $100, whatever it is, that doesn't matter. 75% of that affiliate award goes to one of these organizations like the Happy Gardens Community School, or like many other ones. You saw Maria Bernie Boston Foundation, Scholarship Foundation. That's right here in the United States. Look, the fact is that we've got kids, and kids should not take the brunt of what's going on. I've said it before. I've said it all the time, and I apologize for saying it so often. I love my kids. Yours, not so much. But the fact is that every child deserves a chance. If we're not giving these kids a chance, we're telling them that they're not worth it. And that's not true. I'm sorry, but that's just not true. Let's give them a chance. Let's see what they can do. We have a tendency to a lot of times take and throw the baby out with the bathwater before before the baby even does anything wrong. As adults, we do what happen to us a lot. We get, we discount these kids today because, well, these kids are all lazy. They don't need to do all this, blah, 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 blah. The fact is that we didn't work near as hard as our grandfathers did. We didn't have to. Things progressed. These kids are learning AI. They're learning how to do things with AI, with video games, for God's sakes. They're learning to do things that we would have never known about. Let's learn from them, and let's stop worrying about where a kid is located. Let's just start taking care of them. You can always go to communitypayitforward.us. That's communitypayitforward.us, and go to the Cub Club page. And you can see some wonderful things that we're trying to do with the Cub Club, including getting your kids involved in creating collection boxes for when it comes time to the dreaded holidays. We're going to be talking about that here real soon. The chili cook-off for the chili cook-off and book drive and poker for pediatrics is going to be coming up in, I believe it's the first part of November here in Greeley, Colorado. If any of you guys are looking for a nice vacation, come and join us. Great chance to watch a little bit of football and participate in a chili cook-off and help out 8 Northern Colorado hospitals. How in the hell did I forget one of the hospitals? And, because this is Northern Colorado, just to let you know, there might be 10 by the time November comes. They could start building one tomorrow, which, hey, good on them. If we need them, let's get them built. I've got these 2 recordings coming up tonight. And the first recording is a lady that I met a couple weeks ago, and her story touched me because her story was very similar to mine. She was in an accident. She was hit by a drunk driver, and it affected her life, and she's gotten into doing some things. And we all use the term brain injury, but traumatic brain injury. She uses traumatic brain recovery, which is a neat twist on things, especially when it comes to head. A twist, because we all know how twisted some people's heads are. But she focuses on traumatic brain recovery. And it's really, really interesting. And I really appreciated everything that she went through and all the things that she has done to recover herself, and now taken it a step further and tried to help other people recover the same. After that, and I'm just going to put this out here, and I'm just going to warn everybody right now, you're going to meet one of our brand new dual partners. She is a brand new giving partner. We are going to create a grant system to help out women who need her service. And again, parental discretion for this one. Holly, at 11 years old, was raped, her and a friend. And her friend was never able to pull her life together, and she ended up dying of an overdose. I'm going to let Holly tell the story because she does a hell of a lot better job than I do of the story. But the truth is, she not only lived her own trauma, she also lived the trauma of her friend, because she watched her friend slip into an abyss that she just couldn't help. So Holly wants to take, and with her training and everything that she's doing, she's wanting to build a recovery program for women who have gone through these traumas and they need help. Community Pay It Forward, we want to team with her and make sure that women who can't afford her program, we can try to help them out. So please, we will be releasing more information as this comes along, but please consider, again, another person. You can go on to communitypayitforward.us, find the mission partners, and you can help them out. But first, I want to introduce you to Danielle Matthews. Again, this is from Brain Body Self, is her company, brainbodyself.com. So first off, it is Danielle Matthews, and then after that, we will be doing the interview. It's past footprints forward. And again, folks, if you got kids in the room, this might be one to come back and watch, because this is really, really sensitive, but important information. But first, I'm proud to introduce you to my new friend, Danielle Matthews. Danielle Matthews, not Daniel, Danielle Matthews. Talked to Danielle yesterday. We had a great conversation. We were introduced by a mutual acquaintance, and he knew that we were going to get along because we both have one thing in common. Danielle, I think that you would agree with this. We both deeply care for other people, their health and wellness. I would like to welcome Danielle Matthews to the show.
Oh, well, thanks for having me on. And yes, I think we certainly do. You know, going through things like we've gone through and losing our own health and kind of coming back from that and climbing back from that. You've got nothing but an open heart for other people that are going through it.
You know, that was the other thing, is that you and I have both lived a life with head injuries and had to come back from that. Could you explain a little bit about what happened with your head injury?
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because the anniversary of the accident is just in a few days. June 23rd of 2012, I was hit by a drunk driver and sustained what was classified as a mild traumatic brain injury, which I have since the first day they kind of gave me that label, like laughed at. And I'm like, what an oxymoron. You know, like, there's nothing mild about a brain trauma, but as they nicely reminded me, like I could have been in a coma, you know, I could have needed to learn how to walk and talk again. And I was fortunate enough that, you know, mine wasn't that severe. However, it was severe enough that it pulled me from my life. I mean, I could not concentrate for more than 10 minutes at a time. I was dealing with the most intense migraines you've ever felt. I was dizzy all the time. I couldn't handle any sort of input. It was like, you probably know what this feels like, but it was like everything was coming at me at once. So a light, just natural light, like the sun, it felt like someone was shining a flashlight in my eye. You know, the sound of the AC going and somebody like with their fork and knife on a dinner plate was just like a cacophony of noise in my head. And so I could not handle light. I could not handle noise. My mood changed completely. I became very short, and, you know, I'm typically a very happy, bubbly person, but it was like, I just couldn't, I was on edge all the time. And, you know, I attempted to go back to work. I've been an athlete my whole life. So you kind of just like grit and bear it, right? Because I thought, okay, I can just push through. I'm going to be uncomfortable for a little while. But it became very clear very quickly that this was not the type of injury that you could just push through. And unfortunately, mine didn't clear up. You know, they thought it would clear up in a month, and then they said 3, and then they said 6. And at my 1-year appointment, I was told, this is just your new normal, and you need to adjust your life around your symptoms.
I remember that. I remember that conversation. Well, this is, you know, welcome to life. And it was like, no, I don't like this life. And I'm very, very familiar with what you said, and especially at restaurants, because I lost hearing in one ear. Not only do I have that same thing that you hear the silverware scraping on the plate, which is just ugh, but you can also hear people lip smacking and stuff like that, and you're like, you know, it makes it hard to enjoy anything. It really does. It makes it difficult. And yeah, I sympathize with you there, because I do have similar effects from my accident. You, however, found a product that you love and swear by, and now are associated with it. Tell me about it.
Well, so my journey was interesting. After I was told that by my doctors, I think of how many people, like you were one of them, right, have just sat in a room and been told by this authority figure, like, there's nothing you can do. This is your new normal. Accept it. And something within me, now I know it to be my higher self, but at the time I had no idea. But something within me just said, this isn't going to be your future. Like, just, you're not accepting this. It's a hard no. And I was like, all right, he's fired. We're not coming back to this doctor. We'll figure out something. But the truth of the matter was that I was an emotional mess. My mental health was not good. I was extremely depressed. I was having panic attacks on the regular. I had a ton of anxiety because I just thought, well, what's my future going to be? I was 24 when I was told this. So I'm watching friends of mine, go on to get MBAs. They were becoming doctors. They were, just getting PhDs. I mean, I had a pretty smart group of friends to go on and do all of those things. But, I was on the sidelines of life, and it was not a place that I was used to being. And so we'll come back to all of that because there's so much there to unpack. But what's interesting is I started to learn to master my inner world, which we'll get into in time. But once I did, that's when that product that you mentioned came into my life. And I believe now that it was like, well, it was able to be attracted in because I was ready, because I had kind of learned the lesson that I was meant to learn through that challenge, through that obstacle, which was mastery of my inner world, my emotions, my mind, my thoughts, and to connect in with something higher. And the product that came in was something called ASEA, which I think you talked about on your show before, and it changed my world. I mean, it was something that my degree's in biology, so initially I laughed at it. And I was like, this sounds a little bit like way too good to be true. And the research back then, this was circa like 2014. Okay, so this was like a while ago. They didn't have a lot of research on it. And I just thought, I just dismissed it. And my mom and my dad started using the product and had really great results. My mom, with bone-on-bone issues in her hands, couldn't make a full fist after using it. She could. And my dad, he had an injury from 30 years prior, start to feel better within like 10 days. And they just said to me, look, like, this stuff can't hurt you and it might help you. Like, you should just do it, and I thought, all right. And I did. And turns out redox, which is what they have, redox signaling molecules, was a liquid that I just drank, and I did like 8 ounces a day, every day. And I kept saying, you're wasting your money. This is silly. This is stupid, but about 3 months in, that pounding that had been relentless for 2 years just was no longer there. And I started to be able to concentrate. I started to be able to get the words out that I wanted to, rather than having to talk around the word because I couldn't get the word out. I wasn't having to nap. Like, it was unbelievable, the shift that started. I was still sensitive to noise and light. Like, it wasn't like, oh, a switch flipped and she was better. But there were these like subtle improvements, well, and not so subtle improvements that hadn't been happening on my journey. And I changed nothing but the redox. So it became one of these things that, like, at least the way I look at things, when we go through things, I think we're meant to turn around and help other people through that. And so after having gone through that, I just went, well, this came into my life for a reason. It's a biotech company. It's a breakthrough health technology. The world needs to be educated on it. And I just happen to know about it before the masses do. And so, I started to share with others. And over the last, all the years that have passed since then, I've helped literally thousands of people around the world with it. And it's been like a wild ride, to watch other people's health get to shift and change, and for people to regain and to have options and hope. And it's just like, I don't know, I get paid in goosebumps, and I think, wow, like, good came from a drunk driver, and my life seemingly to be ruined has actually kind of, it's like the phoenix coming out of the ashes. It's like just this beautiful thing that's happened, the ripple effect because of it.
I had an interview yesterday that someone was interviewing me, and I had the almost exact same reaction that you just had. It wasn't that I wanted to blame the people for putting me in the ditch for 7 hours, because look what's come of it. we're trying to help people. I don't think I'd walk up to them and shake their hand and thank them. But you know, I'm not gonna allow my life to be dictated by that one accident. So along with the ASEA, you also started your own program trying to help people, and we're showing it here. Can you tell us about what you do with the body and self?
Yeah, so, you know, as I was kind of mentioning briefly, when my doctor told me that, something inside of me just like switched. And it was almost like I got punched in the gut and wanted to, respond. But I couldn't change my head injury. I couldn't change the fact that I was dealing with these physical symptoms. And so I thought to myself, okay, if life is a game and I'm here to play it, I want to win, right? And how do you win the game of life? And for me, it's just about happiness, inner peace. Like if you have that, in my opinion, you're winning. And so I thought, all right, there's some things I can't change. It's like there's new rules that have been put on my game. And those rules included all the limitations that I was explaining to you earlier, with my brain trauma. And I just thought, all right, well, what can I do? Like I've been focused for over a year on all the things I can't do. So let's now focus on some of the things that I can do. And I just started to really watch my mind, because my mind would consistently jump to, well, I want to go back to my past life, or what the heck am I going to do in my future? And I was just constantly living in the past or the future and not in the present moment. And so what happened, Zach, over time, and this is ultimately what has created this course that I've done called Inner Management Mastery, is I figured out how to be in the complete present and in every single moment, monitoring my own thoughts, realizing I don't have to give them energy, realizing there's something there that's before the thought even occurs, as the thought is there, and after the thought leaves. And I thought, okay, well, what is that thing? Because that thing that's there is like the witness to it all. And it's peaceful. And it's something that is allowing, like, it's almost like the eye of the hurricane. It's just this peaceful center. And the more that I just released my thoughts, stopped engaging with them, disidentified from them, and just stepped back and back and back more, I became more and more and more peaceful. And I started to do a practice called Yoga Nidra, which on my website, the self section is all about Yoga Nidra. It's a guided meditation. It's done laying down in a dark room. And, with the brain injury, that's something that you can 100% do. So I was like, okay, let's focus on the can do.
You enjoy doing.
Exactly. Like, oh, this is something that feels fabulous. But Yoga Nidra is really interesting because it's not like sleep. But it does mirror it. So the yogis figured out how to basically take your brain waves and drop them down into theta, into delta, the same way that you do when you go to sleep. And there's this like trap door that opens up where you move into the meditative space. You're not falling asleep. You're not unconscious. You're completely conscious, but completely relaxed. And it will take people into a deep meditation effortlessly, whether you are an experienced meditator or you've never meditated before. And so I actually started to do the practice of Yoga Nidra because I had a hard time sleeping. It was just one of the symptoms that I was dealing with. And so I thought, well, if this mirrors sleep, like maybe I can use this to like retrain myself how to sleep. So that's why I initially started. And I slept through the whole night the first time I did it. And then I started to use it if I felt a migraine coming on, and it would stop the migraine from getting full blown. And then I started to use it, when I felt the panic attacks, when I felt the anxiety, when I felt all these emotions.
Emily Gulmer, I need you back on the phone, please. Emily Gulmer, back on the phone.
That center, that peaceful center, it was just like widening. And